Hello! Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have to take my cat's collar off immediately. I did in fact just chase my cat around for a few minutes. Okay, hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, I'm so glad to see you back. If you haven't, my name is Cameron. I make videos about books and reading and tropes and a bunch of stuff today, and I thought it would be fun. I had this idea for Valentine's Day, but I wasn't really making videos in February, so now I'm doing it. In the middle of April, I'm doing it. But I wanted to find a little tier list of romance tropes and go through those and like make my own little tier list and discuss all of these tropes and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do today. I think it's going to be very fun. I have 63 tropes that we're gonna at least touch on. Maybe not go into detail about like too many of them. I'm sure I'll yap about my favorites and my least favorites, but you know, we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be fun. You'll just get to sit here and listen to me yap. You know, life is good. So first, before we begin going over the tropes, which I've put in alphabetical order, so we're gonna go alphabetically. Let me tell you about like what tiers I have gone with. So we're doing this standard arrangement of tiers. So we have an S, A, B, C, D, F. So my S tier I called giggling, twirling, my hair, kicking my feet, because they're just my all-time favorites. If I think about them, I'm like, ooh, I love this, so fun. My A tier is like, yeah, I'm inclined to pick this up if I know this trope is in it. B tier is, it could go either way, depending on how it's written. C tier is, I probably am not inclined to pick it up based on trope alone. D tier is, it's not my thing. If it's your thing, that's great, but it's not my thing. And then of course F is absolutely not, get that away from me. Yeah, those are my tiers. Like I said, we have 63 tropes to get to, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. So here we go. So starting out alphabetically is age gap. I have decided to go ahead and put it in the I probably won't reach for it C tier category, because I think there's a lot of ways it can go wrong, and I feel like a lot of age gap kind of stories. Ow, are you okay? I feel like a lot of age gap kind of stories feature an abuse of power, which I don't love, but I myself am not opposed to like the idea of an age gap relationship in the books I'm reading. So it's not necessarily one that I would reach for if it was like described, this is an age gap story. I wouldn't necessarily pick it up just because of that, but you know, might pick it up for some other reason. And then we have alpha, beta, omega. It's not my thing. If it's yours, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. Not my thing, D tier. Then we have the amnesia trope. This is where someone or both people involved in the relationship forget about the person, the other person, or each other, and kind of have to start from square one. It's fine. I won't reach for it, C tier, but if it's your thing, then excellent. I love that for you. And honestly, if I get a recommendation of something that features this trope, I'm not just gonna turn it down because it has the trope. Like, I'm willing to give it an attempt. Ooh, we have our first A tier. I probably will reach for this. I think there's a lot of good historical romances that have this trope, but it's arranged marriage. I like the idea of like, okay, we know we're entering into this with like an end goal in mind. Let's just hang out and get to know each other. I think that's very fun. I think it's kind of sweet when people do that. So that is an A tier. We have a few C tiers in a row. We've got bad boy, good girl. I don't care for a bad boy. I won't pick it up just on that trope alone. We have best friend, sibling. The thing that turns this trope off for me is how weird the best friend always gets. Like, the relationship itself might be very sweet and nice and good, but like the third party always makes it so unlikable. I don't know, just for me. I probably won't pick it up, but once again, if someone gives me a good recommendation, I'll pick it up. The billionaire trope, where one of the people involved is a billionaire. I don't like billionaires in real life. I don't want to do anything to romanticize them. I probably won't pick up a book that features a billionaire trope. Oh, we have our first absolutely not F tier, boss employee. If it is an abuse of power, I'm not interested in it. Even if there's like, oh, but there's sweet moments, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's an abuse of power. Like, it's never not an abusive situation if someone in the relationship is abusing their power. I don't like the trope. I don't want to read the trope. A commonality between one of my other F tier rankings is that I don't like an abuse of power in a relationship. That's not what relationships should be built upon, so I don't like it in real life or in fiction. A bully fiction. So this is where one of the people in the relationship was the bully of the other person, like back when they were younger. I'm not a forgive and forget type. If I'm gonna read a book where a person bullies another person, I want that to be a revenge story, not a, oh, but it's okay, they fall in love, one of them apologized, so it's okay. No, it's not my thing. I don't want to read that, not gonna lie. So that is a D tier. That is not my thing, but you know, if it's your thing, more power to ya. Alright, so can't spit it out trope. This is where one or both of them know their feelings for the other person, but when they're like confronted about it, they simply can't say it. I just think, I don't know, it's not my thing. I'm not interested in that. Like, I want big proclamations of love. I don't wanna, I don't know. What, Willow? She just fluffed up and started walking towards me sideways. It was very cute. Ooh, and we have several A tiers right here. So let's just go through them. So, I know I was talking crap about billionaires because billionaires shouldn't exist. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. There's no ethical way to become a billionaire, blah, 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 blah. I don't entertain the idea of, like, dating billionaires. Not my thing. Celebrities, however, I will read a celebrity fiction. This is one that I'll pick it up. It could be interesting. And this is because celebrity to me doesn't necessarily indicate like, oh, it's a singer, an actor. Like, people could be celebrities for a lot of reasons. Maybe it's a celebrity chef. Maybe it's an influencer. Like, there are other ways to be celebrities, and I think particularly when you kind of pull one of the obscure ones out, like, oh, this is a pro rock climber. Like, that's kind of fun. I don't know. I can get into it, particularly if the other person involved is like someone who is not in that field or not famous themselves. Like, I think that's kind of fun. Coffee shop. This is just where the story is set in a coffee shop. I think it's really realistic. I like romances that are based in a little bit more reality, just in my opinion. Of course I can pick up a fantasy romance or whatever, like I can pick up other things, but like if I'm just gonna pick up a cute story of two people meeting and hanging out, I'm gonna pick up a little coffee shop story, like they just meet in a coffee shop. Cute. Another environment that I really like my romance books to be set in. Hey, please stop. Stop being a devil baby. I just like a college environment. Perhaps one of my favorite, and I wouldn't even call this movie necessarily a rom-com because that's not really what the heart of it is. It's more of a coming-of-age movie. My favorite coming-of-age movie is Legally Blonde, and I love this scenario, like the Harvard Law School setting. Pitch Perfect, if you're talking rom-coms, is also a little bit of a college setting, but I think the school environment provides a lot of kind of fun dynamics, and everyone is of age in that, so I'm down. I'll pick it up, heck yeah. And then we have dark fiction, so this is where like it explores a lot of darker themes. I don't pick it up very often. I won't reach for it. I think there are ways to explore within a romance book some really heavy topics, and I think there are ways to do it well, which is why I'm not saying it's not for me, but it's more, I probably won't pick it up just on it being a dark romance alone. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Okay, I had to take a quick filming break, so if the lighting is completely different, sorry. Also, I got a new armchair. I like it a lot, so. Anyway, so we get into enemies to lovers. This is in the B tier. It could go either way for me because I have a hot take about enemies to lovers. I think a lot of enemies to lovers stories are miscategorized. To me, enemies are people who like are trying to kill each other. So putting it in like an academic setting or like just like an everyday kind of modern day setting, I don't think you're describing enemies to lovers. Oops. So, saying something is enemies to lovers in like a setting that's very similar to our own world, I say absolutely not my thing, because I think it's miscategorized. But in like a fantasy setting, I do really like enemies to lovers. So that might be a polarizing opinion, but that's just my thoughts about enemies to lovers. It depends on how it's written. So, B tier. Everyone can see it. It is my Roman Empire. S tier, absolutely. I love when that happens in real life, but I also really like when that happens in fiction, when it's like so obviously the two characters are just in love with each other, but they're not like ready or willing to admit it yet. I love that. I think it's so fun, especially if they're like, I don't have a crush on the other person. And it's just like, you're obsessed with them. Absolutely you do. S tier for sure. I love it so much. I can't get enough of it. I'm kicking my feet. I'm twirling my hair. I'm giggling. I love it. Okay, so another one that it depends on how it's written. Maybe this is just the asexual in me, but I don't read romance to like go for smut or not. I'm not reading it because I'm like, ooh, a nice little scene for me to read. No, I read it because I like when people are in love in a fictional context, and a real one. I said that as if I don't like love. I just like love. I think it's very sweet and endearing and wholesome. But I don't really have a preference on sex scenes, personally. So Fade to Black, it depends on how it's written. If it's written like really cheesy, then I'm gonna have an issue with it, but like, I feel very neutrally about it otherwise. Alright, so we got fake dating. I like a fake dating scenario. I do, honestly. Whether it's like a scenario of like, I need a wedding date, I'm gonna bring my fake boyfriend to make my ex jealous or whatever. Like, I like a fake dating scenario. I like that it makes them kind of go, oh wait, if they're a good fake partner, why couldn't they be a good real partner? I think it's fun. I think it's fun and cute. Fake out, make out. So, as far as I understand it, this is a scenario where it's like someone's doing something nefarious and they're about to get busted, and in order to be like, well, no one will look at us, it's when they make out with each other. To be like, well, no one's gonna look at a couple making out. I like it. I think it's fun. If the context is right, I'm like, hell yeah. Let's get it going. I love that. I like it. So, I will pick it up if it has this. Now, that being said, I hope it's not the crux of the whole story. I feel like I should have said those earlier. If there's like a moment of a lot of these, I'm like, heck yeah. But if it's like the crux of the story that they did this, that's when I'm kind of like, ah. Now, that being said, the ones in A tier, the ones that I'm more likely to pick up, doesn't guarantee they'll be good. So yeah. Then we got fluff. I like the cutesy stuff. I think it's adorable. It's an S tier for me. Every time I read like a good fluffy moment in a book, I'm like, this is so cute. This is so cute. So maybe that's just me. Then we have a forbidden romance, a classic Romeo and Juliet. You guys are not allowed to you're not allowed to have a romance with each other. This is a C tier. I don't normally pick it up. I don't normally reach for it. I have no beef with it, but I just don't pick it up. Another A tier, I will pick this up. I love a friends to lovers story. I do. I think there are ways where it can get like really clingy and weird, but for the most part, I like a friends to lovers moment. And maybe that's just me in my real life, like pushing my real life into the things I'm reading, but like, I like dating friends. Call me crazy. So, and then we have, it depends on how it's written, but it's good boy, bad girl. Perhaps it's because I'm a queer person, but I prefer a bad girl over a bad boy in my fiction. That's just me, and I think it leaves more opportunity to flip that trope on its head if the genders are swapped. So, it depends on how it's written, but like, yeah, I could get down with that. I like it pretty well. S tier, and if you're surprised by this, given the rest of the video, I don't know why you would be, but like, I like a happily ever after. I read romances to get that happily ever after, to get that, oh, everything's gonna work out. Particularly, I like picking up romance when I'm in a bad mood, or I'm like, love isn't real, like, stuff like that. I like picking up romances when I'm feeling a little bit hopeless, so I like when they end well, and it's like, oh, if everything's going wrong in the world, at least this fictional couple is together and will be together forever. You know what I mean? I like it. That's why I read romance. And I know it's not everyone's jam, but like, that's why I read it. So, happy for now. So this is like when the book ends and like it is a happy ending, but there's always kind of a chance that the author might like re-enter into the world, start writing those characters again, and it won't be happy anymore. And like, same kind of deal. If I'm reading it because I want like a guaranteed happy ending, everything's gonna go well, if nothing else in the world is, at least this is. I don't want like a happy for now situation. That's just me, but I do think it could be written well. So I'm up in the air about it. And then, so remember what I said about college, where I think school provides a space for a lot of very interesting dynamics and a lot of different kind of stories and like opportunities in a school setting? Yes, that's true for high school, but I don't like reading romances about people who are not adults. Even if they're both 18 years old, I'm like, high school just doesn't do it for me. Sorry. It's not one I'm gonna pick up most of the time. Actually, a lot of the times if I do accidentally pick up one that like features high school students, I'm like, oh man, like I'll stick it out, but it's, you know, it's not one I reach for. That being said, there are very good ones that I have enjoyed in the past, so I'm open to recommendations, just not one I reach for. Huddle for warmth. It depends on how it's written. That's it. That's what I got. I think it needs a good context to do it, and it needs to not be totally awkward and stuff like that. But Huddle for Warmth depends on how it's written. Hurt, comfort. I love this. I do. It's an S tier. There's something about, and this can be like in a non-romance scenario too, like a hurt comfort in a like literary fiction is also like a good, I like that dynamic regardless of if it's platonic, familial, or romantic. There's something about the value of relationships in moving forward and healing from stuff, both in real and fictional contexts, that I eat it up. I love it. I eat it up. It's so good. It's so good. So it is an S tier for me. I really, really like it. Looping back around to, I have no preference on how sex in my romance books are. Interrupted intimacy. I don't reach for it, especially if it's the crux of the whole thing. It's a C tier. Nothing interesting. Intimate healing. Intimate healing, I'm down for, honestly. I'd pick it up. I can get down with that, and that's all I'm gonna say. Oh, here we have another not for me. That's insta-love. So as soon as they see each other, they're in love with each other. I don't think that's really how love works, also. I think there's instant attraction. That works. That's a real thing. Instant love, not so much. And you'll find, maybe based on the preferences I've indicated to you, I am a firm believer in love is not necessarily an emotion, but more an action. It's a verb for a reason. So the whole like instant, they're star-crossed, they're in love, blah, blah, blah. It's not for me. I said I like a little bit of realism in my romances. I don't really pick up ones that are like, bam, they're in love with each other immediately. It's not gonna work out. That's all I have to say. Ooh, okay. So now we have In Vino Veritas. In Vino Veritas is a trope where I think it means like the wine speaks the truth, which is just where one or both of the people involved are under the effects of a certain substance, often alcohol, and they kind of admit their true feelings for each other because like they're a little bit more loose-lipped. I like it. I think it can be done well, but it can also be done really horribly. So that's a B tier, but I do think there's lots of room for hijinks, and I don't mind if I'm enjoying a book, if that happens and it's done well. I like it. So it depends on how it's written. Okay, we got Last Kiss. So I didn't know what this was when I saw this on the tier list, and I was like, I have to look that up. So I was like, Last Kiss trope, romance trope. And apparently it's when characters like a lot of times in a life or death kind of situation, think it's going to be their final kiss, so they take every opportunity to like savor that kiss. I didn't know I liked it until I read the definition, and I was like, ee. So I do think I would pick it. Like, I'm not gonna be mad if it appears in my romance books. So that's an A tier. I like it pretty well. Love triangle. Okay, love triangle. Okay, girly. Love triangles, they can go either way for me. It really depends on how it's written. Additionally, for me, there's an easy solution in this scenario, which is polyamory. Like, I feel like especially if the two that are competing for the one are like kind of into each other or kind of have chemistry or could be attracted to each other, yeah, that could be a throuple. Like, I feel like it could be resolved other ways. So I don't always love it, but I don't always dislike it. It's just gotta be compelling, because I feel like a lot of times love triangles, they're written in a way that it's like, oh, very clearly the author is intending for the main character to end up with this person instead of this person, so this person gets written really poorly. If you guys have good love triangle recommendations, ones that are like actually very satisfying and like they don't necessarily have to end with like a throuple, all of the parties involved getting together, but it's not like you're just shunting one to the side essentially, then I could be into that for sure. But for now, it depends on how it's written. Mafia romance, I don't reach for it. Miscommunication, we have another not for me. It's also really annoying. Miscommunications are a lot of the times the final conflict within the books. Like, everything's almost all resolved, and then there's a miscommunication, and that's how the author fills the last 50 pages of the book. Sometimes even less. Sometimes even like the last 30, the last 20, it's not for me. If the whole thing is based around miscommunication, I don't want to read that. Y'all are dumb. I don't want to read about a bunch of dummies. That's just me. But thankfully, even though that one's not for me, we go immediately back up to an S tier. Mutual pining. I'm foaming at the mouth for a mutual pining. It's mutual pining is where each members of the relationship, each of the couple, before they're a couple, are like really, really into each other, and they know they're really into each other, but they don't really think they have a chance, or they can't articulate it, or whatever. I love it. I eat that up. I love when people in real life and in fictional stories have crushes on each other, and I love it. I love it. I think it's so fun. Another S tier for me, and this is not limited exclusively to romance books. I am perfectly happy to see a no strings attached trope in a literary fiction or a book that's just not in the same genre, that you can just see like a very healthy, like, friends with benefits, we're mutually beneficial to each other kind of relationships. You know, with romances with the no strings attached like trope, a lot of times they end up together, which is the point of a romance. A romance should have a happy ending, I feel like I should say, but I also just love that like dynamic between people in books. Maybe it's just me, but I really like the dynamic. So, and then we have one-sided pining. I put this in it depends on how it's written, because there are several like fictional relationships that I've been really into, one of them just having a massive crush on the other and not doing. Actually, the first thing I think about when I think about one-sided pining is the Legally Blonde musical, which I know is not a book, but like Emmett being so into Elle, like immediately. I love that. But you might think, why isn't this an S tier? I just love pining, first of all. Second of all, I think it can get real creepy or really annoying fast. Depending on how you write the one-sided pining, like, it can very much seem like an obsession, and then to me it's not satisfying when the characters get together, because I'm like, he was just like stalking you. Why are you with him, you know? So, it depends on how it's written. Really, like a lot. It depends on how it's written. It can either be extremely, extremely creepy, or it can be extremely satisfying when this second character is like, oh my gosh, this person's had a crush on me the whole time. That's crazy. That's my opinion. Another S tier. It's when the couple has past history. I necessarily care what the past history is. I've mentioned that I really like friends. Come here. Come here. Okay, so we've got past history. I went ahead and put it in S tier because I mean, I've already told you how much I like the friends to lovers trope. I like when they're already like familiar with each other before entering like a romantic relationship. I like when they're like, wait a minute, like we've known each other for a long time, we know each other very well. These are actually the parts that I like about maybe a bully story. Like if I'm going to read a bully story, like this isn't a bad way to do it. I also really like this about enemies with lovers because I do think having that kind of beef, or like academic rivals or like sports rivals, whatever, I like it. I like when they have like past knowledge, regardless of if it's like oh, what I thought I knew about you is totally different, or we grew up together, or whatever. I like when they have past history. S tier. It's S tier. And next we have plot. What plot? This is just kind of when a romance story doesn't have a whole lot going on. It's just a lot of interaction between the two romantic leads. It's a lot of just kind of banterings. I find that it's a lot of like getting to know each other, and there's not like a particular goal in the end. I think it's fun. I don't read romance for the plot, so I'm gonna have to say like I would pick that up. So I don't know. I don't read romance for the plot necessarily, so I like it. That's an A tier for me. Uh-oh, we've gotten absolutely not. Get that away from me. It's pregnancy. That's not the kind of story I'm looking to read. Also, pregnancy is like a real life stake. No, I'm here to have a good short read. I'm not here to get stressed about anything, and that is a stressful scenario, so get that away from me. Get that away from me. Okay, and then we have Pretend It Never Happened. Pretend It Never Happened is a scenario, like, think about, like, maybe two characters kissed at a party, and then they're like, we can't let anybody know, we're gonna pretend it never happened. Stuff like that. So they've got, like, a secret between each other, essentially, and, like, I don't know. I like a little secret. I think it's fun. I think it's fun. That being said, I think it depends on what they pretend didn't happen. Like, I think it depends on that, and I think it depends on how it's written. So I decided to put this in B tier. Depends on how it's written. Relationship reset button. This is where I was reading the definition of this to make sure I had it right, but this is where, like, one or both members of a party have to essentially, like, start the relationship over for whatever reason. Like, maybe it's through amnesia, maybe it's through, like, well, let's just try this again since it didn't work out the first time. Like, it depends on how it's written. I feel very neutrally about it otherwise, but it really depends on how it's written. And then we have royalty. Depends on how it's written. I don't care for real life royals, but, like, I've read some books that I've been like, aw, this is kind of sweet. Like the Bridgerton series, or Red, White, and Royal Blue. I think it can definitely house a good story, like, that's a good premise for a story, but I don't particularly feel one way or the other about it. Then we have a not for me, secret baby. I abhor pregnancy, specifically like surprise pregnancy. Ugh, I hate it. I don't want to read about it. A secret baby could definitely involve for hijinks, which is the reason why it's not in the absolutely not category, but it's not for me, and it's okay. Okay, so we have a few, well, there's several secret categories. Obviously, I just did secret baby, but I have a few other ones, and all of them are, I think it depends on how it's written. So the first one is secret bet. I hate the stories where it's like a bet between the guy and his best friend that he could make this girl fall in love with him. If she's not in on it, don't do that. Ew. But if it's like a secret bet between the two, like, romantic leads, I like that. I think it's fun. So, depends on how it's written. Then we have secret identity. Like, there's another, maybe one of the people involved is a spy and they have something separate going on in their life. Depends on how it's written. Depends on the context. It depends on, like, what secret part of their life are they hiding. I don't love the whole, like, keeping secrets from each other, maybe I should just say. I don't like the keeping secrets from the romantic leads. Like, maybe one party has a secret with their buddy and didn't tell the romantic, like, you know what I mean? I don't like secrets held away from one of the partners, but if it's secrets between the two romantic leads, I think that's kind of fun. And then of course, secret relationship. This one's very much like it depends on how it's written. It's pretty much explicitly spelled out like how it's supposed to go, like they're trying to be in a relationship with each other and they don't want their friends to know, but it really depends on the reasoning behind it and like, are they being obnoxious and stuff like that. So all three of those are in B, just depends on how it's written for me. And then we have a not my favorite, not something I'd necessarily pick up, but it's the sibling's best friend. I wouldn't want to do that in real life, so maybe that's just what turns me off of it in a story. That being said, if you have good recommendations for me, I'm happy to read them, but it's just not something I reach for necessarily. We have another S tier. It's the slow burn. I love a slow burn. I love when a romance. I always think pacing is very weird in a romance story when it's like, oh, they got together halfway through, and then I'm like, what is the rest of this book about? Like, what? I love a slow burn. Hi, baby. I love when authors take their time just marinating a relationship. Oh, I eat that up. I eat it up. I really like it. Okay, so another one that I will pick up is like the snarky girl and jerk duo. And that's gendered, but it doesn't, it's like not necessary. It's basically when one of the romantic partners is known as like a huge a-hole to everyone and like he's terrible to everyone, and the only person who really stands up to him is the other romantic partner just by being snarky to him. Actually, a really good example of this is Beauty and the Beast, like the original animated movie. That's a really good example of it. I like it. I'd pick up a book with it, so yeah, that's an A tier. I've kind of already mentioned this. It's not for me when it's like they're falling in love immediately or like star-crossed lovers or... So star-crossed lovers is the one I'm talking about. It's not for me. It's not what I'm gonna reach for. So this one's a C tier because if I would read it. I'm not so like turned off of it, like I'm not gonna pick it up at all, but like it's not what I'm gonna reach for immediately. Smut depends on how it's written. Because listen, y'all know if you've ever read a bad smutty scene, you know. It like ruins the whole experience. So I feel very neutrally about it otherwise, but I do think it can make or break a book. So B tier. Sports fiction. So this could be like hockey romance or baseball romance or soccer romance or... That being said, I do think ones with team sport actually like allow for a lot more queer romances, which I think is fun. I don't have a lot of experience reading sports romance. If you have any recommendations for me, I'm happy to pick them up, but like I don't have a lot of experience, so I feel very neutrally about it. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad, but like I feel very neutrally about the whole trope like as a whole. So that's a B. That's a B for me. Another S tier. It's stuck together, so it's like a forced proximity. They have to be around each other all the time for some reason. I like it. I have a good time with it. I think it's so fun, particularly with characters who kind of don't really like each other. It's fun to be like, oh, now you guys are doing a group project together, or now you guys have to do research together, or whatever. Like, you guys have to do something together. I like a forced proximity moment. It's also just a great plot device to have a reason for those two, particularly with characters who don't like each other. For them to have a reason together, it just makes the plot flow so much smoother. And I have a lot of fun with it, so it's an S tier for me. It's one I love. Grab. Okay, so the switcheroo trope in romance is where one character has a crush on the other, and then they're like, I've finally moved on from my feelings, and then that's when this character gets a crush on them. I have read and seen many examples of it that are very, very good, but then sometimes it can very much be like, oh, now she's just jealous. She just wants what she can't have. They just want this or whatever. So I don't know. I think it could be written many ways. So for me though, it's so neutral to me, and it's also so much like a really depends on how it's written, that I'm gonna have to go with B tier on this. Oh, we've got the final, I hate this, get it away from me trope. For the same reason that I don't like boss employee, it's teacher student. It's so creepy. Sorry, it's so creepy. Get it away from me. With a lot of my like D tiers, I'm like, hey, it's not for me. If it's for you, no issue. With the ones I absolutely don't like, know that I am judging you. I am judging you. If you're really into teacher student, I have a lot of thoughts. So I get it away from me. A power imbalance? Absolutely not. That's just asking for an abusive scenario. Nope. Alright, and then the last 4 we have are all A tier. They're all ones that I'm like, heck yeah, if it's in my book, bring it on, you know? No worries. So, they're not my total favorites, but you know, if they're in the book, I am not gonna be mad about them. So, we've got There's Only One Bed. Pretty explanatory. If there's only one bed, they have to sleep next to each other. And then what happens next? You've got a will they, won't they? This one was one I was kind of toying between A and B, because I do think it depends heavily on how it's written. But like, also, it's fun. So I went with A. Will you zip me up? Which is when like, a lot of times the more feminine, like, person in the relationship is getting ready or whatever and asks the other romantic partner to like zip her up, and it's like they've got a lot of proximity, it shows a lot of trust. I'm not gonna be mad if it's in a book. Like, I'm not gonna be mad. And then finally, a workplace romance. I feel the same way about this as I do like a college romance. I think it allows for a lot of really good hijinks. I think it allows for a lot of fun. I like it. And I also like romances that can feature friend groups. So like, if one character's got like 2 work besties and the other one's got their own work bestie, like I think the more characters that can comfortably be involved in a romance, the more fun and dynamic the romance is gonna be. So, another A tier. So, here's the tier list. There's your picture of the tier list. If you'd like to pause, if you'd like to take a screenshot, feel free. But those are my personal opinions on these tropes. I just really like romance books. I like a well done romance book. So, if you saw any of those tropes that I feel, honestly, if anything above D tier, and you have a recommendation for me, please send it my way. I love a good romance. I love a good romance that I can just read in an afternoon and it's a good time. I just have so much fun reading romance. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you clicked on it, I hope you enjoy romance too, and I hope this list helped you. I don't know if this list was here to help you, but I hope you enjoyed listening to me yap. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you have seen multiple of my videos at this point that you've all liked, why not hit subscribe? I think it could be a fun time. Recommend me some of your favorite romance books that you're like foaming at the mouth to tell someone about. And that's really all I have for you today. It's 80 Fahrenheit outside today, so I'm gonna go for a walk outside now that it's really nice out. So go for a walk if it's really nice out. Go spend some time outside. Go absorb some sunlight. I think it'll be very good for you. This weekend, I guess I'm posting this on Easter, so if you are a celebrator of Easter, I hope you have a good Easter. If you're a celebrator of something else, I hope you have a good whatever. I'm just gonna use it as an afternoon to myself, and I think that will be great. So enjoy your Easter, or adjacent, whatever you celebrate this weekend, or honestly, just enjoy your weekend. And of course, go visit and support your local libraries. I will see you all later. Goodbye!